This video is for you if you want to grow your audience and income on Medium. Hello and welcome. In case we're meeting for the very first time, my name is Sinem. I'm a top Medium writer. I've been writing on the platform since 2018, have reached millions of readers through my writing, generated six figures in earnings through the Medium Partner Program, and I am a publication editor and a Boost nominator. And in this video, I'm going to give you 10 quick tips based on my work as a writer, my work as a writing coach, and my third hat as a publication editor that are going to help you get a better understanding of what to do and what not to do if you want to grow your audience and income on writing by writing on Medium. The first tip that I want to give you is the definition of what great writing, specifically on the internet, really is all about. A lot of people get it wrong and they have the wrong expectation on what good writing on the internet is. In reality, great writing on the internet consists of two things. It's great ideas and great editing. You don't have to be a fantastic writer, a very creative person, or a talented writer in order to build an audience on the internet. You need good ideas that stand out and that get people curious, and you need to learn how to edit your articles so they are easy to read, they are fun to read, and they are engaging. Without editing, you are making the life of your reader harder than it has to be, and you are making it less likely for your reader to actually stick around and read an entire article. If your stories are full of typos, grammar mistakes, formatting issues, and are hard to comprehend, people are not going to stick around, even if the idea itself could be interesting. Nobody wants to read your introduction 3 times in order to understand what exactly your point is and if they should read your entire article or not. You have to come up with great ideas, ideas that are unique, that are personal, that are different, and you need to learn how to properly edit. You don't have to write a great article, you have to write your article and then you have to know how to properly edit it. Those are the two different stages that you will walk through over and over again as a writer. Coming up with interesting ideas, developing ideas, capturing ideas based on your real life experiences, based on what you are consuming, what you are finding interesting, and then writing those down, and then in the final stage, editing properly. Don't skip those 2 points. If you just write and you don't do much else, you don't take care of whether your article or whether your idea is actually interesting or not, and you don't properly edit, your chances of reaching a significant audience will be very, very small. And when you are editing your articles, keep the 3 C's in mind. While editing your article, you want to make sure that your article is becoming more clean, clear, and compelling. That's what you want to achieve by properly editing your article. You want cleanness, you want clarity, and you want it to be compelling so people actually spend time reading what you write. My second tip is only learn from people you actually want to imitate. Writing is a weird career in a way that there are so many different paths to success. There are so many different styles, voices, genres, monetization options. And there are so many people who can teach you how to become a better writer and a successful writer who's making a living by writing on the internet. What matters is that you pick the coaches, mentors, and teachers that can actually help you find your path and your way around. If someone is doing incredibly well on the internet, but their approach doesn't necessarily align with what you want to do, you're not going to be very satisfied with what you can learn from them. Speaking from my personal experience, I am a person who is very much leaning towards quality over quantity. I don't want to be publishing content all the time. I don't want to be publishing daily. For me, consistency doesn't mean showing up every single day in front of an audience. It means being strategic, being smart about the approaches that I take, being invested in my work, but not necessarily creating something new every single day, and instead making what I do even better every single day. If you are someone who is enjoying a more fast-paced environment and you want to create and publish every single day, my approach might be boring to you. I only publish 2, 3, or 4 articles a month on Medium, and I'm not active on social media. I don't publish on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, or whatsoever. I don't want to do all those things because they seem too overwhelming to me. I don't want to play that kind of game. I don't want to chase attention that way. I would much rather focus on writing 2 to 4 long form articles and serving my audience through my email newsletter. But there are other people. There are people who are publishing 2 articles a day on Medium, and they are doing well as well. So you have to pick the path that resonates most with you and pick teachers that resonate with you as well. Don't learn from someone who is publishing 15 pieces of content every single day if that's not what you want to be doing. If you don't want to be doing, if you don't want to be engaging in that kind of content hamster wheel, well, don't learn from those people. Learn from someone else. Pick someone who has an approach that is more similar to what you want to be doing in your own business. My third tip is a very quick one. We pay more attention to the words in a sentence that are at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. This is pretty interesting because it matters when you are writing headlines. When you have a long headline and your most important words are buried somewhere in the middle, it's going to take your reader a longer time to comprehend what the value of your piece is. What you want to do instead is make sure you give away the most important words at the beginning or at the end of your article or at the end of your title. And you can also follow this when you are writing your articles, actually. When you have a long sentence that doesn't really mean a lot and you have the most important information somewhere in the middle, you might want to edit. You might want to make sure that the most important words, the most important information is actually displayed at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. In my fourth tip, I'm going to kind of disagree with a lot of creators and creator advice, which is give value, create value, provide value to your audience. The truth is, giving value itself is not enough anymore. You can create value by asking ChatGPT whatever you want to know, by asking ChatGPT to write an entire article even. If you want to stand out as a writer, especially on Medium, it's not just about giving value anymore. It's about connections, it's about emotions, it's about personality, it's about connecting with your audience on a more personal level. If you don't have anything personal to share, if you don't have a personal point of view about the topic you are actually covering in your writing, it's going to be very hard to stand out. It's going to be hard to get published in major publications, and it's going to get almost impossible to get boosted through the Boost program, because when we're looking for articles to boost, we're always asking ourselves, is it valid that this person has written this article? And when you're speaking from your personal experience, well, yes, there's always a point in publishing your writing. If you are merely summarizing something that you have read somewhere else, well, we will lack personality, we will lack connection, and we might not necessarily love to publish your writing. My fifth tip is all about editing. I want to encourage you to read your writing out loud when you are done with the editing. After you have edited and read your piece out loud and you are catching phrases that sound weird or just feel weird, then it means that those phrases need editing. If something doesn't sound or feel right, you need to change it. You need to make sure it's easier to understand, it's simpler, it's more clear for your reader. So let's talk about editing tools. I love Grammarly and the Hemingway editor to use for my writing, but I always encourage my students to make the final decision. Editing tools like Grammarly are fantastic when it comes to catching typos, grammar mistakes, and basic errors. But those tools also make a lot of suggestions that might not necessarily make sense. A lot of their suggestions, especially in the pro version, are about style and voice and how your article sounds. And you are totally allowed to disagree with Grammarly's suggestions. You have to know how you want to sound as a writer. And if Grammarly's suggestions or any editing tool suggestions um, don't fit and they don't seem right, well, then disagree. Don't accept the suggestion. You are meant to make your own decisions as a writer. You cannot just take a editing tool and accept all their suggestions. If you do that, you will somehow lose your voice and lose your personality. Use editing tools to your advantage, but don't let them make the final decision. You make the final decision. You decide which of their suggestions actually make sense and which are to be ignored. Tip number 7 is a little mindset shift. And I know a lot of writers will hate me for saying this, but when you are writing on the internet, you are constantly selling. You are selling your ideas to readers. You are selling yourself and your writing, even if you don't do it on purpose. And when you are writing an article, every single sentence that you write has to sell the next sentence. What I mean by that is that your reader has to be sold on continuing to read your content. And if you get lost, if your writing is confusing, if it's boring, if it's not clear, you're going to lose your reader. You have to make sure when you are in the final stages of editing your piece that every single sentence creates a flow for the next one. When you read a sentence, you want to move on to the next one and to the next one and to the next one. You have to think of your content as being snackable and being almost addictive. Think of it in terms of eating peanuts or M&Ms. If you are eating peanuts, you don't stop after one peanut, or if you are eating Pringles or any other snack that you prefer. You grab one and then you grab the next one and then you grab the next one, and eventually the bag is empty. And your writing should feel somewhat similar with fewer calories. Um, you want to make sure that your reader is kind of addicted to the story. They read one sentence, then they read the next one, then they read the next one, and so on, until they made it to the end of your article. Your goal as a writer is to make sure that your reader enjoys the article from the very start until the last sentence. And you do that by making sure it flows nicely, the ideas are clear, there is a reasonable storyline, and there is value, connection, and personality in your article. Talking about how your story flows, here's one more tip. When you are done writing your article, compare the very first to the very last paragraph of your article, and also bring your title into that comparison. Do the three match? Does your first paragraph and your last one make sense together? Do you have a clear conclusion? Did you follow up on the thoughts and the promises you had in the introduction, or did you get lost somewhere along the story? That's something that I experience a lot with my writing students. They have a title and an introduction, but then somehow they get lost in the story because they tell 15 different stories instead of sticking to that one promise they had in the introduction. And if you get lost writing the story, you can bet that your reader will get lost while reading it. My next tip has been my favorite ever since I became an editor for Better Marketing, which is all about giving advice and writing educational content. If you give advice, be so specific that it almost feels stupid. Be so clear in giving your reader instructions on what to do that you feel like it's too much. Most content that is meant to be educational, is meant to be instructional, is too shallow. The writer tells you what to do, but they don't tell you how to do it. So you are left knowing what you should do, but you don't know how exactly to execute. If you want to go the extra mile and actually provide great content and make sure you can get boosted on Medium, be hyper specific, provide examples, give your reader exercises, give them very specific and clear action steps. You might feel a little stupid being so specific, But the truth is, you feel stupid because you know all of that stuff. Your reader doesn't. You're writing for an audience of readers who are not as skilled in that specific area as you are, who don't have your point of view, who don't have your experience. So the more helpful you are, the more specific your content is, the more value you're actually providing to your readers. So don't be afraid to be too specific. Go the extra mile. Give them exercises, give them action steps, provide additional resources, tell them exactly what to do. And last but not least, I want to encourage you by saying that your writing won't be perfect, and I don't want you to expect it to be perfect. Something that I have been doing for years now that is really helping me get into that mindset is when I love a book that I just finished, and I really loved the entire book. I thought it was great writing. I go to Amazon or Goodreads or whatever, and I read the 1-star reviews, because every book has haters, every book has 1-star reviews, every author has bad reviews. And when I read those bad reviews on a book that I personally loved, I just see that there are different tastes. I see that people think differently of different types of writing, of different creative outputs. And that's okay. Your writing isn't meant to be perfect. Your writing is meant to be valuable and interesting, and it has to connect with a specific audience. You don't have to write stories that are liked by everyone. That's not possible. Just keep in mind that even the world's best authors, top best-selling blah 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 authors, have their 1-star reviews, and it's okay. You don't have to be liked by everyone. You don't have to write content that is valuable for every single person on the planet. You just have to find your little corner on the internet and attract the right audience, attract the people who will find value in your stories and who will resonate with your message. Don't try to be perfect. Try to be yourself. Allow yourself to speak in your genuine voice. Allow yourself to tap into your uniqueness and to show your personality. That's what's going to make your writing unique in the first place. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below telling me which of those 10 lessons resonated most with you. And if you have any questions, I'll be dropping by in the comments every now and then, and I would love to connect with you. I'll see you in another video.